All right, today we're diving into a really special book, one that's become a spiritual guide for millions of people, A Course in Miracles. But what is it actually saying, and why do its ideas feel so radical, even now? Let's get into it.
Right out of the gate, the Course just kicks the door down with this one. Massive question. Seriously, just think about that for a second. What if every single bit of pain, every frustration, every loss you've ever gone through is all just based on one big misunderstanding? It's an idea so wild it basically turns everything you think you know on its head. And that right there is where we begin.
So, to even start to wrap our heads around an idea that big, we first have to understand what the Course thinks the problem is, and that starts with its diagnosis. But listen carefully here. It's not a diagnosis of what's wrong with the world. It's a diagnosis of the way we look at the world. It's all about the lens.
The Course says that the world you see is basically projected by a specific part of your mind it calls the ego. But here is the absolute key. The ego isn't some monster hiding in your brain. No, it's just a belief. It's that little nagging thought, that persistent whisper that says, you're all alone, you are totally separate from everyone and everything else. And according to the Course, that one simple idea, well, that's the root of all our suffering.
And believing this has a huge emotional fallout, because when we believe we're separate, deep down it kind of feels like we've made a terrible mistake, like we've done something wrong. And that mistake creates this deep, often unconscious guilt. You know that feeling, right? That nagging sense that you're just not quite good enough. The Course argues that that feeling, not what's happening around you, is the real source of all your pain.
So this brings us to a really crucial idea. The Course teaches that we are, in every single moment, standing at a fork in the road. Whether we know it or not, every second of every day gives us a choice between two completely different ways of seeing everything.
On one side, you've got the ego's lens. That's the one that projects a world full of fear, guilt, and separation. And on the other side, you have the lens of what the Course calls the Holy Spirit, which only sees love, innocence, and unity. The thing is, you can't look through both at the same time. It's always one or the other. So, the real question is, how do you make the switch?
Okay, so that's the diagnosis. We're living in a world basically dreamed up by the ego. So what's the cure? Well, the Course gives us a really clear prescription. And the strange part is, it has nothing to do with changing the world out there. Nope, it asks us to change our own minds. The whole process is 100% internal.
The number one tool for this is forgiveness. But you've got to forget everything you think that word means. In the Course, it absolutely does not mean you're condoning what someone did. Not at all. It means you make a conscious choice to look past their mistake, past their ego, and see the innocent core that's behind it. And why on earth would you do that? Not for them. You do it for you. Because every time you do, you set your own mind free from judgment and pain.
So, if forgiveness is the daily workout, then you could say atonement is the ultimate goal. The Course does something really clever with this word. It breaks it down into at-one-ment, as in the restoration of being one. It's like a divine reset button that undoes that original mistake of separation in our minds every single time we choose to forgive.
And that inner shift, you know that little click in your head? That's it. That's what the Course calls a miracle. It's not about parting seas or anything like that. A miracle is just that moment when, instead of reacting with irritation at a coworker, you suddenly choose understanding. You're not changing the situation, you're changing how you see it. And right there, that's where all the power is.
And look, this isn't just some vague, high-level philosophy. The Course gets surprisingly practical. It literally gives us a step-by-step game plan for those moments when we get hit with fear.
Okay, step one, just admit it. Just say to yourself, all right, what I'm feeling right now, this is fear. Simple enough. Step two, realize where it's coming from. Fear is always a sign that there's a lack of love somewhere. So, step three, what's the only possible solution for a lack of love? Well, it can only be one thing, perfect love. And step four is to ask for it. Ask for that perfect love, which is the atonement. It's remembering that deep down, you're always connected and you're always safe.
And the best part is, you don't have to pull off this massive mental transformation all by yourself. The Course says that right alongside that loud, screechy, fearful voice of the ego, there's another voice inside us, a much quieter, calmer one, the Holy Spirit. You can think of it like your own personal internal guide, whose only job is to correct the ego's crazy thinking and gently lead you back to peace.
So we've got the diagnosis.
And we've got the prescription. But where's all this leading? What's the end game for all this forgiveness and these mental shifts? The Course calls it learning to see the real world.
Now, the most important thing to get is that this real world isn't heaven or someplace you go after you die. It's a way of seeing that is available to you right here, right now. You still see the same streets, the same people, the same job, but your inner experience of it is completely different. That background hum of fear is just gone, and in its place is a feeling of joy.
And I think this is why the Course hits home for so many people. It puts all the control right back in your hands. It's basically saying, your peace of mind doesn't depend on your boss or the economy or anything out there. Nope. It only depends on your inner choice of how you want to look at the world. And that is the only real freedom any of us will ever have.
When you boil it all down, the entire 1,000-page book really revolves around this one pretty confrontational idea. It says, fear isn't something that happens to you. It's something you create. And that leaves us with a radical but also an incredibly hopeful choice. Because if you are the author of your fear, that means you can also pick up the pen and rewrite the entire script. So the final question isn't for the Course, it's for you. What are you going to choose today?